The political scene in Malawi is currently heated, with many rumors of who the strong contenders are. We have covered Atupele Muluzi, APM, and the late SKC. But today, we dive into the life of someone who we cannot ignore, the only female in the race, the first female president of Malawi, and the second female president in Africa as a whole. She is an individual who is regarded as a trailblazer on one end, and on the other end, she has faced intense criticism. Her supporters and sympathizers credit her for having a strong stance on women's rights and exercising democracy, while her critics point to her mishandling of certain economic policies, with allegations of tolerating widespread corruption during her time as president. But whether you see her as a hero or figure of controversy, there's no denying her significant impact on Malawi. In this fourth part of our series, we focus on the infamous trailblazer, Her Excellency, the former President Joyce Banda. As usual, we will examine her background, life, political performance, technical skills, controversies, and popularity. Then I'll conclude with my own opinions and give her an M-Dubz rating at the end. Buckle up, because her story is like a roller coaster. Inspiring on one end and complex and shaky on the other. My name is Brendan, and this is M-Dubz Report. Mwadzuka bwanji, mwaswera bwanji, madzulo abwino. Joyce Banda was born on 12 April 1950 in Zomba, Malawi. She comes from a relatively modest background, her father being a police officer. She was raised by her grandmother, who apparently named her Joyce after a white midwife who delivered babies and was in charge of the hospital in which she was born. By giving her this name, her grandmother hoped Joyce would grow up to be just like that midwife, a strong woman in charge. Joyce Banda has described her grandmother as a self-reliant woman who was always doing some sort of business, and that it is her who influenced the sense that she would make money and always be in charge regardless of her gender. She attended Chikupira Primary School, and it is said that she was one of the brightest in her class. So after writing her primary school final exams, she was later selected to attend Malawi Secondary School, which was quite prestigious at that time. After completing her secondary education, Joyce Banda moved to the United Kingdom, where she studied at Columbus University. Joyce went on to earn a bachelor's degree in early childhood education from Atlantic International University, USA, and a postgraduate diploma in management of NGOs from the International Labour Organization Center in Turin, Italy. By the age of 25, she was living in Nairobi, Kenya, and in 1975, a growing women's movement in Kenya, coupled with personal issues, motivated her to move back to Malawi. She later married retired Chief Justice of Malawi, Richard Banda. Joyce Banda's early life was marked by her determination to pursue education and her passion for community service. Before venturing into politics, Joyce Banda was a hustler and entrepreneur. Between 1985 and 1997, she managed and established various businesses and organizations, including Ndekani Garments in 1985, Akajuwe Enterprises in 1992, and Kalingidza Bakery in 1995. It is clear to see that she was indeed inspired by her grandmother to achieve financial independence and break cycles of abuse and poverty. Joyce Banda also had a substantial career in social and community development. She founded several organizations with the aim of improving the lives of women and children, such as the National Association of Businesswomen in 1990 and the Joyce Banda Foundation in 1997. Her work with these organizations laid a strong foundation for her future political career. So in 1999, with a career in social justice and entrepreneurship, Joyce Banda entered the political scene. She was elected as a member of parliament for the Zomba Malosa constituency in 1999 under Bakili Muluzi's UDF. And under Bingu's administration, she was appointed Minister of Gender, Child Welfare and Community Services in 2004 and was later appointed as the Minister of Foreign Affairs from 2006 to 2009. Before we dive into her political career, let's take a look at what she actually achieved as a member of parliament and a two-time minister. Her focus was mostly on women's rights, social welfare, and economic empowerment. As a member of parliament, she championed the Prevention of Domestic Violence Bill in 2006, which provides legal protection and support to victims of domestic violence. And as a Minister of Gender, Child Welfare and Community Services, she designed the National Platform for Action on Orphans and Vulnerable Children to address the needs and rights of orphans and vulnerable children, as well as initiating the Zero Tolerance campaign against child abuse to combat child abuse in Malawi. In 2009, Joyce Banda was appointed Vice President of Malawi. However, her relationship with President Bingwa Mutharika became strained over time. Her tenure as Vice President was turbulent, with political conflicts that eventually led to her being expelled from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party in 2010. Following this, Joyce Banda founded the People's Party in 2011. Her political resilience and determination paid off when she became president after the sudden death of President Bingwa Mutharika in April 2012. As the first female president of Malawi and the second woman to lead a country in Africa, Joyce Banda's presidency was historic, bringing a new perspective to Malawian politics. It was a short presidency, only 2 years and 1 month, but it was definitely very eventful. I'll attempt to be objective and balanced here, so I'll talk about both the good and the bad. Let's start with the good. Supporters of Joyce Banda will say that her presidential term was marked by efforts to stabilize the economy, fight corruption, and promote women's rights. One of her most significant controversial actions was the introduction of the Economic Recovery Plan to tackle Malawi's economic challenges. In simple terms, she devalued the Malawian kwacha by 40% because there were concerns that it was overvalued. The late President Bingwa Mutharika was very opposed to this.
Just sit and listen.
Another area which you've been quite strongly focused on is not devaluing the kwacha, saying that it is better for business to keep it as it is strong. Under the current sort of foreign currency shortages that Malawi is seeing at the moment, is this still your viewpoint?
The shortage of foreign exchange is not because that the kwacha is not valued. In fact, people are saying overvalued. And I've asked economists to tell me what is the correct value, because then above that is overvalued, below that is devalued. What is the correct? They don't say. These are things we put in economic textbooks. They are saying if we devalue the kwacha, then we make our exports competitive. Which exports? Tobacco is never affected by the kwacha. You can devalue anything, it will not be affected. Tea is not affected, they are fixed markets. Cotton is not affected. So, you devalue the kwacha, who benefits? The day you devalue the kwacha, the price of everything, oil, matches, everything will go up for the ordinary person. Even tomatoes, the price will go up, even onions will go up. So the inflation goes up. And I'm saying that the IMF has a contradiction in their minds. They don't know what they're talking about. They talk about macroeconomic stability. What is stability? Stability is a level. The moment you take one of the parameters and devalue, that stability is disturbed, because then inflation comes in. And they're saying they're macroeconomics. So I don't know what kind of economics are at the IMF.
This move was criticized because it increased inflation and hardship for many Malawians. Some may even go as far as saying that was the beginning of the downfall of the Malawian kwacha, which we know hasn't recovered since then. Her administration also faced significant challenges. It's time to discuss the Cashgate scandal. If you don't know what this is about, I'll try to summarize. Basically, government officials were implicated in widespread corruption, theft, and embezzlement at Capitol Hill, leading to the loss of millions of dollars in public funds. This had been happening even before Joyce Banda came into power. But it all came to light in September 2013 when an accounts assistant in the Ministry of Environment was found with $300,000 in his car. 1 week later, Paul Mpuyo, the budget director in the Ministry of Finance, was shot by armed men waiting for him outside the gate of his house in Milongwe, Area 4. And several other civil servants were found hiding large sums of money. After that, many stories and conspiracy theories started to emerge that millions of dollars had been embezzled by government officials colluding to defraud the state. Joyce Banda's administration tried to explain that the looting was made possible because of loopholes in the way funds were transferred from the World Bank. They also suggested that Mpuyo may have been shot by people involved in the Cashgate scandal because he was on the verge of busting a corruption syndicate. The estimated amount that was involved in the Cashgate scandal was about $250 million. As a result of this scandal, foreign donors began suspending aid. In October 2013, Norway froze all budget support to Malawi. Malawi. The next month, in November 2013, Britain followed Norway to delay budget support. The USA didn't follow suit because they provided aid through NGOs and not directly to the government, and the IMF delayed a loan worth $20 million. The aid suspended by the EU, Britain, and Norway collectively amounted to around $150 million. We will discuss how much Malawi depends on foreign aid in another video. So in summary, our international reputation was tainted, and it is safe to say Joyce Banda's reputation never recovered. After all this, it's not surprising that in May 2014, Joyce Banda suffered a heavy defeat in the presidential election to Peter Mutharika. Despite her attempts to annul the results, she was ultimately voted out of office. Shortly after, she went into a self-imposed exile for 4 years and returned to Malawi in April 2018. Since then, she has remained active as a global advocate for women's rights and education, working with various international organizations. I think we have enough information to rate her now. Joyce Banda is undoubtedly educated and experienced in both the social and political arenas. Her work with various NGOs and her political career has equipped her with valuable skills in leadership, advocacy, and policymaking. However, her presidency was marred by economic challenges and corruption scandals, which raised questions about her effectiveness in handling complex national issues. For this category, I give her 6 out of 10. Joyce Banda's political career is a testament to resilience and determination. She broke barriers and made significant progress for women's rights and social justice in Malawi. Championing gender equality, her policies aimed to stimulate economic growth and stabilize the country's financial situation. However, it is important to note that she was never elected president by the Malawian people. She became president after the sudden death of the late Bingo. This, along with the Cashgate scandal, contributed to her poor performance in the 2014 presidential election, where she received only 18% of the votes, and the percentage of women in parliament decreased from 22.3% to 16.7%. Also, she clearly stated that she will never run again, as it would be unwise, and it wasn't her priority. So why is she running again now? In this category, I'll give her 4 out of 10. I don't want to focus on rumors about her personal life and reputation, so I'll only discuss the Cashgate scandal. This was a significant blemish on her presidential term, raising serious questions about her administration's ability to manage public funds and maintain transparency. As the first female president of Malawi, it is said that she may have ruined the chances of other women in politics, where voters doubt women's capabilities in political leadership positions, like that of members of parliament. Women leaders around the world have been shown to be very effective leaders, so it's unfortunate that Malawi may be missing out on female representation in politics. For this category, she deserves 4 out of 10. Despite the controversies, Joyce Banda remains a respected figure in Malawian politics. Her advocacy for women's rights and social justice continues to inspire many. However, her popularity has diminished due to the economic challenges and corruption scandals that marked her presidency. From my observations, she isn't a top contender, but she is important to have as an ally. I suspect that she may not be on the ballot, but is using the election cycle to build leverage and negotiate when alliances come into play. She does have a history of inter-party politics. She signed the Tonse Alliance Agreement on behalf of MCP, and we know that she has lobbied for her son to be appointed minister and now ambassador. She's in good terms with Chakwera and gets on well with Bakili Muluzi. So there are a few avenues that she could take. Let's wait and see. For this category, I give her 5 out of 10. Adding up these scores, Joyce Banda gets a total of 19 out of 40. Which is 4.75 out of 10. So far, we have rated Atupele at 6.5 and Peter Mutharika at 5.5. Next time, we will focus on the other presidential aspirants. Please remember that these are my points for now, and this could change before the elections next year. Let me know what your ratings are. Just a reminder to make sure that you are listening to all these presidential candidates carefully. What are they promising? Can they actually deliver their promise? We have been deceived too many times before. Let's do better this time. Let's vote for the best person that will improve the lives of the Malawian people. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Zikomo.